Hey, howdy, and a big welcome back to Clemhawks, folks. I am Yak, ready to take you through the Minnesota Wild Free Agent Frenzy Day 1 for 2022 NHL Free Agency. And a day that, well, you know what, was going to be an absolute bust from the start for Minnesota Wild fans because of the buyouts of Sustr and Parise playing I was going to say big factor. It's a huge factor in everything that the Minnesota Wild did today. Is there was nothing of substance being able to be done. You lose Bugstad, you lose Delorier in contract signings on other teams, and you add four guys for a combined, I think, less than $3.5 million. So you really don't go out there and add very much to your team. Kind of depth pieces that absolutely, yes, will be needed at key points in the season, whether there be injuries, whether guys are just not performing, whether a guy gets claimed on waivers, whatever. These four guys will be needed at some point for the Minnesota Wild, all four guys at some point this season at this next upcoming season. So, folks, let's go talk about, first off, the crop of four. We will go with Brandon Baddock, who is now a new left wing center slash combo from Vermilion, Alberta, Canada, the heart of the Lakeland, folks, right there. Yes, sirree. Hometown pride for a guy like me, by the way. Brandon Baddock of the Minnesota Wild, 27 years old, drafted in 2014, 6th round, 161st overall by the New Jersey Devils. He comes in at a $750,000 cap hit, I do believe, if I've got this correct. Let me check this out one more time. Brandon Baddock, 750, you betcha, and he has one NHL career game under his belt at 27 years old, way back this season for the Montreal Canadiens, in which he did nothing of substance. One game, 0 goals, 0 assists, 0 points, 0 penalty minutes, clean sheet of ice for Brandon Baddock in that one. This according to, yes sirree, the cap friendly. So, what you need to know is he is a product of the Lloydminster AAA midget system, so he's played some time over there, played with the AJHL Lloydminster Bobcats, and then gone around with the Edmonton Oil Kings, and of course then to the Adirondack Thunder in the ECHL, then with Binghamton, and then with Laval, then with Iowa, and he's back this season. So I guess he's already been here, done that. However, he is a free agent signing to a degree, so I guess I should have been aware of that. However, didn't look at the stat sheet before coming live, so screw it. We'll move on to Nicholas Petan, the pride of Vancouver. I was going to say Victoria, Vancouver, British Columbia, also 27 years old, coming in for the Minnesota Wild after playing 2021-2022 with the Vancouver Canucks. Split time between the AHL and NHL. He put up more than a point per game at the AHL level, registered only 2 assists at the NHL level in 18 games this season, a -2 and 4 penalty minutes on the season. And of course, he comes in as well at a contract a little bit below what you'd expect for a free agent signing day one in terms of big guys, but Nicholas Petan coming in at 762.5 on the cap. Stephen Fogarty now the next man up, 29 years old, from Edna, I think it's Edna, Minnesota, from the USA. You betcha, a hometown boy for the Minnesota Wild right here in Stephen Fogarty, coming home to play for his hometown team after playing, well, in that northeast corner of the United States for quite a while. New York, Massachusetts, stand up. This guy's been around with you for a little while. Played with the Rangers 1 game in 17-18, played 10 games in 18-19, then 7 games in 19-20. 2021 he was over with the Buffalo Sabres, 9 games, and then in 2021-2022, for some reason I want to say that's where I know Stephen Fogarty from, but folks, I guess not. He only played 2 games with the Boston Bruins this season and was a -2 on the year. However, his best season in the minors 42 points in 62 games with the Providence Bruins. And let me tell you, usually if you get a guy that's producing at the Bruins level, there's a guy very near and dear to Edmonton Oilers fans' hearts in Colby Cave that came over after playing years with Boston and the Providence Bruins. And you know what? Absolute fan favorite kind of guys they brew down there in Providence. So we're looking forward for the Minnesota Wild to get a guy like that in Stephen Fogarty, and hopefully he's got 29 games of NHL experience. Give him his first full season in the NHL. Of course, we'll recap the entire NHL roster as it currently stands after this is all said and done. The last guy of the day, Andrej Sustr, comes in. He has had, my friends, quite a runaround with the Tampa Bay Lightning and Anaheim Ducks over the past several years, all the way back to 2012, 2013. Played 2 games, then 43 and 13, 14, 73, 77, 80, 44. Goes to the Ducks in 18, 19, plays 5 games, and then goes over to, well, the Tampa Bay Lightning and Anaheim Ducks. Go figure, in 2021, 2022, plays a total of 38 games after playing several seasons, or 2 seasons, pardon me, in the KHL, and comes back and registers a total of 6 points this season, one of his better output years in a while in the NHL, and ends up, you know what, cashing in a $750,000 contract with the Minnesota Wild. There you go. That's what you need to know, right? And I said Bukestad, Delorier are gone, so you want to talk about what the Minnesota Wild situation looks like up front. Well, it's a little messy, right? Mitchell Chaffee and Nick Swaney have both been qualified. So you've got Vladislav, sorry, that's in the minors. So there's no defensemen that need to be qualified. So the NHL roster looks as such. Kirill Kaprizov, Matt Zuccarello, Joel Eriksson Ek. You only got 11 forwards up here, by the way, too. Marcus Foligno, Jordan Greenway, Tyson Jost, Ryan Hartman, Frederick Gaudreau, Matthew Boldy, Connor Dewar, and Brandon Duhaime. So you got to remember that there is still 2 roster spots to fill with this Minnesota Wild team out of potentially those 4 guys that we've talked, whether we want to discuss everything there or not. On the back end, Jared Spurgeon, Jonas Brodin, Matt Dumba, Jacob Middleton, Dmitry Kulikov, Alex Goligoski, John Merrill. Your defense is set. Andrej Sustr is insurance in case things get messy. Your 8-man D is going to be important to the Minnesota Wild this season, if not a veteran experience down there in the minor leagues to help develop your younger guys. The goaltending assured now. Marc-Andre Fleury and Philip Gustafsson, a perfect get for the Minnesota Wild. So folks, like I said, though, the absolute killer contracts of Zach Parise, Ryan Suter, 12 and a bit of change in dead cap this season. That, my friends, is why you don't go add a big free agent forward that the Minnesota Wild at this current could have possibly needed to add to the roster. So folks, I am Yak. This is Clem Hawks. That is your free agent review for the day, my friends. I am up on out of here, going to bed, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. See you till then.